easy. Information disclosure. And what's funny is the second one says you need the professional version of burp, and you don't. It's ridiculously easy. So the simplest one is error messages. Boy, I've seen this all over the web. So you have a page, and all you have to do is trigger an error, and the verbose error message will tell you information. And so what we want is the version number of the framework, which is Apache Struts. So all you have to do is open a product page, get the GET request, and change the product ID to an invalid value. So here's the display of products, and I go into burp and clear out all the old stuff just to make my life easier. Now I load one product, like this umbrella, view details. And by the way, you don't even need to use burp at all. Up here is the product ID, 4. So if I just change that to like X, then it's an error page, and the error page will reveal Apache Struts version. That's right, this stuff is amazing, that's the flag. So it's incredibly easy. And this is, by the way, quite common. This happens, in fact, at City College. You've probably seen it. When you log into like your Web 4 account, you pretty often get pages of error messages like this. All right, so that one is ridiculously easy, and they're all pretty much like that. The next one is information disclosure on a debug page. And this one here is funny. Their solution tells you need the professional version of burp, but if you look at what the professional version is doing, you don't need the professional version at all. All you're trying to do is to find a comment on the page that gives you a link that goes to debug. So you don't need the professional version of burp. All you need to do is look at the source code of the page. So we can do that in burp. Let's clear the old stuff. We could probably do it without using burp at all, but if I just refresh the home page, then I can go here and I will see a GET that loaded the home page. Well, which should have been a GET slash, I think. Let me check the instructions. Engagement tools, the home page contains a comment. All right, I can just use view source if I have to. Somehow I'm not seeing any good stuff here, just garbage. Clear history, yes. Now I'm going to refresh that page and hopefully see something better than just garbage. I got to see a Web Security Academy page loading, which, there we are, that's what I wanted. Something went wrong before. So there's the GET. So now, if I look at the response down here, it contains all the HTML. And if I want to find the page containing debug, you can search right here in burp, debug. And there's only 4 matches. So here's the label, and here's another piece of text that's visible, and here's some kind of URL containing debug, and here's the comment. And all the comment tells you is here is the debug page, and notice that it's phpinfo.php. And if you read the description of this challenge, what you're trying to find is the secret key environment variable. Now, I've been talking about this. People put passwords and keys hard-coded into their code, and that is considered a terrible practice. You're supposed to put them in some kind of vault, but one other thing people do sometimes is put them in environment variables that are loaded when the machine first boots up or when you log in, and they're stored in the RAM on that machine, but they're not really in the source code. You can do that, but one problem is the PHP info function exposes them all. So all you have to do is add that to the end of the URL. And that'll run this PHP info script, which shouldn't be there. You shouldn't have that script just lying around. For this reason, the PHP info script does expose all the environment variables. So if you just look through here, you'll find, there we are. Environment variables are going to be down here. And there's too many things. I'm going to search for the word secret. Yes, these things should be stored in some kind of vault, and there are commercial web-based vault solutions.
The code needs to reach out to the vault. They need some type of key.
I know. There is some way around that, and I don't understand it yet. I brought this up. There is a way to do it, and I'm planning to learn it and write projects about it and add it to my classes, because I don't know how to do it yet. But that's the professional solution, and there are like commercial vault services. And there is some way that you get in there. But anyway, using an environment variable, this is the flag, of course, is this secret number. And this is one way people use, and it would be okay if you couldn't inject any PHP, but if you could eventually inject this and find it out. Anyway, so that's the flaw there. And the third one was also pretty simple, source code disclosure via backup files. This again was outrageously easy. You need to find a hidden directory. Well, what you do is you look in the robots.txt file, and this is another standard trick. You'll see it in CTF challenges all the time. And it's getting to be more of a big deal now because people use the robots.txt file to try to stop AI crawlers. So you have a domain of some kind, then you put in /robots.txt, and that tells it where the robots are not supposed to go, and that tells you there's a folder called backup where the robots are not supposed to go. So you just look in there. Whoa. And in there you find a backup, and when you look on the backup file, there's a secret in here, which wasn't, I just noticed when I looked at the parameters, one of the parameters is obviously a password or something, this long random thing. So again, they've hard-coded something in the source code, and it's available in the backup that's there. And this keeps happening. They've been in the news, all over the news. People are putting these in GitHub and GitLab and all these online code repositories. People upload code that contains secrets like this. It keeps on happening. And now, another thing that happens is people put info stealers all the time, and they steal them, and then they put them in online repositories that aren't safe. How to inject PHP tag next to URL? Well, let me go back to that one because that's a very good question. That one there, I didn't actually inject the PHP code into here, although that is commonly possible in PHP frameworks. What happened in this one is there was already a PHP script in there, and there was a comment on this page showing how to find it. So the only reason I was able to see the environment variable secret key is because the developer actually put phpinfo.php, which is a poor practice. People often do it just to verify PHP is working, but if you have this, it shouldn't be visible to the world. However, you can often inject PHP. It's a very common flaw. On PHP pages, there is some way to inject code into a file, and you can write your own code here. But we didn't inject it. In this case, it was just sitting there, and we found it, which is true of all these information disclosure vulnerabilities here. These particular ones don't have you injecting code. They just have you finding something that was put in a foolish place by the developer. All right, let me stop this video.